Actually, Travis Scott might be over 30. I don't think this applies.
So get his out the card.
Yo.
This your boy, don't I got my boy.
Deezy.
We are the ill-advised wise guys.
Check out the full podcast, link below.
I want to bring up this hip hop combo. Has hip hop stalled? And I ask this question because I feel like the cream of the crop of hip hop artists are aging. Most notably, Kendrick, J. Cole, obviously Drake. These have been names that everyone has mentioned for the last 10 years of being the top guys that have held it down. But these guys are in their 30s, mid 30s. And at a certain point, we'll have to start ushering in a new generation of talent. What I guess I've noticed over the last couple of years is a lot of artists that have tragically passed, extremely talented artists, could have been at that level to take the mantle and push it forward. I bring up people like XXXTentacion. To me, you can say whatever you want about his personal life. I'm talking about musically. He had the talent to, in my opinion, really take things to the next level. Juice WRLD is another. Whether or not you like his music, I'm talking about talent. I believe Pop Smoke was one of those guys. The list goes on. But my point is, like, I think there's a void right now. The younger artists, I'm not sure if there is a long list of artists that we can point to and say, these 5 or these 3 to 5 are going to be the guys for the next 10 years in hip hop. Am I disrespecting current artists by not bringing them up?
From a music standpoint, there may not be many artists that are moving the needle, but I don't think it's always been about music. Hip hop has been about culture. Hip hop has been about how many likes you can get on social media. I think the clout aspect of hip hop is still there at its highest. But from a skill standpoint, that's the part where, I think it's a little wishy-washy. So you brought up some people. They were highly skilled artists, in my opinion. XXXTentacion, he was a pretty solid rapper, but it was the other things he can do.
Yep.
It was the, rock music he was able to do. It was the content he was able to push out. You mentioned Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD, he probably was the most talented artist while he was alive. Younger standpoint. Juice WRLD can do a pop record, can freestyle for 25 minutes straight.
An hour.
Run up on me, that's okay. That chopper on me, get the jumping like Jumpman. 23 and that glizzy, come and get it. I've been defined like science and physics.
I mean, his talent was off the charts.
Somebody we didn't mention, Mac Miller. Mac Miller's music aged better than a lot of people's music aged. You're hearing a lot of his verses that he had unreleased verses coming out now. And it sounds like some 2022 stuff. And the way that he was able to like morph from a battle rapper type guy.
Oh yeah.
And he morphed into like an R&B.
Jazz. Infusing jazz.
Hitting you with those hard raps. So like from a talent standpoint, like there's a lot of, and then Pop Smoke. I thought Pop Smoke was great because like Pop Smoke started out as like a real drill guy. But then right before he passed, unfortunately, he started to get into those other bags. And was shining in those other bags. The first time I realized Pop Smoke was out of here, I heard him on a remix to Her. Chris Brown,
the slide
remix.
Yeah, that was
and the
good.
way he literally slid on that song,
Pun intended.
I was like, this guy is out of here. Back to the people that we have now. It's funny, we were listening to NBA YoungBoy's album that his 6th album of the year.
This guy doesn't sleep.
If there's somebody that we can get excited about, it's NBA YoungBoy. Because when he's not doing his Grim Reaper stuff, when he's not killing every single thing
on
site, when he gets to his melodic bag,
he's
when
different.
He's able to like shift gears from hip hop to R&B.
Out of all the accolades that these artists receive on a regular basis, whether it's Billboard, first week sales, all the stuff they report about, right? Most songs charted in top 100, all the stuff that YoungBoy, surprisingly, I think to most people's surprise, is like at the top of many of these lists, but I don't think that people know this. What's the disconnect you think with NBA YoungBoy? The way we just spoke about YoungBoy with respect for his musical ear, you don't really hear people highlighting that aspect of his music. It's only the shenanigans.
It's the type of YoungBoy music people recommend to other people. If you're going to hear an NBA YoungBoy song on IG, more than likely it's his Grim Reaper stuff. His melodic stuff where he gets introspective and vulnerable doesn't get attached. So you have to like literally want to press play on his album to hear that type of stuff. You know how baseball has Triple Crown, somebody who leads home runs, hits, and runs or whatever.
RBIs?
NBA YoungBoy is one of the few young artists, along with Lil Uzi Vert, I would say, where he's a Triple Crown hip hop artist. He sells. He's actually a pretty good artist. And then also, he goes viral. Like, the young kids like him.
At least with YoungBoy, I will say the criticism on him is fair.
Yes.
Which is like quality versus quantity. Puts out a lot of music. He floods the market, floods the streets. But it's like, how many of these projects that he puts out can people take away and say, man, I was blown away by this project. Even as a YoungBoy supporter, I don't really feel like he has a lot of those. And I think that's one of the things that's probably gonna hold him back. You brought up YoungBoy, Uzi. There's some young dudes, the Playboy Cardis, the Kodak. I feel like there's another crop of talent right now that's happening. Can any of them be the guy?
So I was gonna bring up the women, man. I legit think that women rappers are the hottest right now. Women, like what Glorilla was able to do with like one song, she's super popular. I feel like the women rappers are a lot more organic. They're a lot more strategic with how they move. Lotto is one of the first artists in a long time that literally feels like she's strategic with everything she does. Who she adds to her remixes, who she decides to the song she decides to hop on. And I think that's what's missing with the male artists is a lot of them are not strategic. Like NBA YoungBoy is not strategic. Kodak Black don't really got a strategy. He just kind of puts stuff out.
You know who has a strategy? Playboy Cardi.
When it comes to music or going viral?
Both.
He trolled us with that whole lot of red. I legit do not believe the record labels did not want to put it out. He was doing that on purpose. A lot of artists don't, well, if they do have strategies, it's not clear.
It doesn't make sense.
And I think that's the difference between, you know, women artists and male artists.
Right.
Who
I'm
do
not
you love that
out of the younger class.
Out of the younger class. Let's under 30.
JID.
I love JID. Oh.
JID to me is, I would say he's up there for me. All the stuff that I just said about, man, who's the guy? I think JID talent-wise has the it factor to be in the conversation for the next 10 years. Yeah. Just based on his ability to compose music. It's not even about rapping all the time. His ear for production. He dropped the Never Story this year?
Never Story.
Great project.
That album.
He's so early in his career, but I think he's one of those guys for me.
So I said Triple Crown earlier. I think the Triple Crown, so they sell records, they have good skill. I think the third one is get respect from their peers. So JID, he unfortunately, I feel like that album didn't sell like I wanted it to sell.
His Achilles heel is that commercial appeal.
Uzi is the guy, the golden child.
I got a question though. Do you think that Uzi has plateaued? Or do you think that he can go further?
I think he can go further. A lot of the work he's done so far on these albums have been him just, you know, being trendy. I think there's another level Uzi can go, and that's like orchestration. You know, somebody who I think phenomenal artist, one of the best artists in my opinion, Travis Scott.
Oh, come on, man.
What Travis Scott does on albums from an orchestration standpoint, from a moving the needle standpoint, I think Uzi can do that. That's his next level.
Yeah. I think Travis Scott has the keys. I don't think it's Uzi. Travis Scott is the one with he's in the driver's seat.
Uzi is more trendy. Uzi's able to sway trends a little more.
Travis is respected at every level by the legends. Well, if I want to use this car analogy, Travis Scott to me is in the driver's seat. I believe Uzi's in the car.
Who else is in the car? Okay, that's good. Let's
you like that, right?
Okay, 5 people can fit in the car.
Okay, let's do it. Uzi's in the driver's passenger. Okay. So he's in the back.
Okay.
On Travis Scott's side.
Okay.
You know who's in the rear passenger? Playboy Cardi.
What?
I'm telling you. You know why I say that?
Playboy Cardi's in the trunk.
Don't disrespect that.
We're not going to introduce the trunk to
because if you want to introduce the trunk, then we're going to have to start putting people in the under the engine hood, maybe tie them to the top of the car.
In the gasket.
And the reason I say Playboy Cardi is not that I love his music fully. It's his influence. Playboy Cardi is out here influencing a lot of the younger crop.
Okay.
Kent Carson, the Yeats. His sound is sprinkled throughout the newer sound of hip hop.
2 more seats. Obviously, Lil Baby's in there, right? Lil Baby's probably in the passenger seat.
Lil Baby gotta be in the passenger seat. So the person in the middle is just along for the ride.
The worst seat.
Okay.
Because I don't love him. Jack Harlow.
I knew you were gonna say that. NBA YoungBoy's in the car.
Oh shoot, NBA
NBA
YoungBoy's
YoungBoy's in the car. He's in the car. We might have to make this a minivan.
NBA YoungBoy is going to shoot the car.
Shots
Think
fired.
about how many people that did not make the car though. I mean, Megan Thee Stallion didn't make the car.
She's not in the
Lil
car.
Durk didn't make the car.
I'm sorry, he's not under
He
30.
just turned 30. He literally just turned 30.
Actually, Travis Scott might be over 30. I don't think this
So he gotta
applies.
get
to
his
him.
ass out the car.
Who's driving?
Ooh, Lil Baby. Gunna's not in the car.
Gunna's not in the car.
Young Thug, but they're 30. And they're 30 and in jail. Kodak Black's
Yo,
not in the
let's
car.
make it a short school bus.
Nav's not. Yeah,
Nav's not in the car. Stop it. Respectfully.
Nav is Ubering.
I don't like this car. I don't like this car. But it challenges us because
It's a great
if
car.
there's only these 5 seats, would you say Lil Baby's driving?
I have to say, Lil Baby's driving, man. Lil Baby is is respected.
Okay.
The Game said he's a top 10 rapper of all. The Game is not a foolish dude. Like very articulate. Like
You said the game is not a what?
foolish dude. Like
You mean when it
he's
comes to his
speaking?
rap
I'm
takes?
talking about speaking.
I don't know, bro. This is actually difficult. Yo, can somebody fit in the
Takeoff's
glove?
not
Who
in the
fits in
car?
the glove compartment?
Lil Bow Wow.
Stop it.
Listen to the full episode, link below.